This is not your NBC. This is CAN TV, Channel 21, and this is the Black Star Still Rising program. And I am your host and producer, Stephen Silver Carter. Got to do my shout outs that I do normally every week. I got these shout outs every week, all right. First of all, to our station executive director, Mr. Darius Hillman, who has made and welcomed all these community based organizations and non-profits here to have a role in communicating with the community. Also, we couldn't do this without our studio producers. Wave at Imani and Rocio. They're in the studio. Way back, guys. Still know you're here. They know you're looking at them. Okay. Couldn't do it without Imani Payne and Rocio Santos. And I couldn't do it without my associate producers, Dr. Mike Washington and the other associate producer, Ellis Taylor. So thank you all, you folks that are watching from all over. Welcome here today. I've got a program that's going to knock your socks off because I have two knock your socks off guests, right? These are members and staff members, interns at the Black Star Project. I want to introduce you to, first of all, Jada.
Hello.
Jada, pronounce your last name for me so I won't mess it up.
No, you're okay. My name is Jada Miskdeen. I am a student at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and I currently am an intern at the Black Star Project.
And we also have Ashley.
Hello, I'm Ashley. I'm a fourth-year
You're
undergrad.
Ashley Cruz, right?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
Ashley
you forgot.
Cruz.
Okay, go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm an intern at the Black Star Project. It's my fourth year at UIC also, and I'm majoring in applied psychology.
Both are in the psychology department.
Yes, sir.
Just like your buddy Logan was.
Yes, sir.
That's a strong department. Tell us a little bit. Why don't we start with you, Jada? How did you happen to come to the Black Star Project? What interests you? How did you get engaged? And we want to tell other potential interns why they should be involved, why they should get involved. Tell us how it gained interest for you.
Yeah, so basically for our applied psychology program at UIC, we were required to find a internship for our senior semester, and the Black Star Project really stood out to me because I love to be engaged with members of my community, especially the Black African American community.
And you got some ancestors that are real African Americans, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us where your grandfather was. Your grandfather?
Yes, my grandfather, he is Nigerian, so he came from Lagos, Nigeria, when he was about 20 years old. So I have that ancestry on my side, so I thought it would be great to be able to give back to my community and help my community grow educationally and mentor young people.
Are you going to tell them I told you that I was in Lagos too back in the 70s
Yes.
to build some housing there for the Black Arts Festival that was happening. So tell them I know a little bit about Lagos in Nigeria, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ashley, tell us a little bit about you, how you got involved, what interested you.
Yeah, so what interested me with the Black Star Project was their academic enrichment component, just because growing up in Little Village and going to public schools where there were underfunded and there were limited resources, just to see the work that Black Star Project has done to enrich the youth academically, culturally, through intergenerationality. It's great work, and I just wanted to be a part of it and also gain some knowledge and experience from the wonderful mentors that I have at Black Star.
Tell us about how you see the combination of what you're majoring in and your experience with the Black Star Project and how that's going to impact the field, essentially the career path that you'll be going into.
Yeah, I feel
What's your vision of that right now?
I feel like just being able to interact with people in psychology, we learn about our interactions with people, and just when counseling with people, you have to be empathetic with them, and just being able to help the youth to be able to provide the services and the supports that they need to grow into great people and to enrich our further generations.
I'm excited about you guys going back into the community. Jada, why don't you address the same question? How do you see both your training, your internship, affecting your career path and what you eventually go into?
Yeah, I personally want to go into social work, and in the Black community, I feel like there is so many challenges that our youth face when it comes to mental health, and they don't necessarily have the resources to be able to get that help that they need. So I think that it's important for them to be able to see individuals like myself and others that volunteer at the Black Star Project to have some guidance and help when it comes to mental health resources.
Tell us about some of the things that you talk about a couple of the programs that you're involved in directly.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the programs that I'm like really involved in is the Young Black Men of Honor, which is a mentorship program from ages 10 to 18.
10 to 18. Okay.
Yes, we do have some younger students there currently, but they're still very involved with what we do. We talk about various topics such as mental health, conflict resolution, and early career options in business and sports. I think that business and sports is very interesting because a lot of people don't know that they can take that route versus
They can put their money.
yeah,
Okay.
take that route instead
Even
of
if they don't have a
actually-
jump shot or they can't
Right.
score. Okay.
Right, you could be short, you may not be able to play basketball. So
That's why I didn't make Division One.
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's important for them to know that they have those other options except for actually playing the sport.
What are some of, you got to tell us about a couple of instances and stories about some of the tutors, I mean, not the tutors, but the students that you mentored. And what's the age group for your group at that program?
Currently, we have ages about 8 years old, and the oldest kid is about 16, I
It's
believe.
funny that you're talking about kids.
Yeah.
And you're all, what, 20,
Yeah.
21? Okay. These are kids, right?
Young adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
But any of the stories strike you as especially interesting because you want to tell other interns what they have the opportunity to experience?
Yeah, we do many events, especially for Young Black Men of Honor. We often take our students to basketball games, especially for the Bulls since we are here in Chicago. We've also went to the All-Star Weekend for basketball as well in San Diego this year, which was really fun for some of our interns. I know that a few people got the opportunity to go, but I stayed back for this event.
You want to hold down the fort.
Yes.
Gloria Smith made you hold down the fort.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yes, but those were some of the really good experiences that the kids were able to get involved with, and I think that it was super fun for them, as well as like academically enriching for them to be able to see the different components of how sports all comes together.
It's Coach Q, is he a part of that? You worked with Coach Q on that?
Yes, sir.
And didn't they do the same thing with the WNBA?
Yes.
So it wasn't just the NBA.
Yes.
Got to take in the women in sports, right? Was it title what?
Yes. So we're actually looking for next semester to be able to develop a program for girls as well. Just because Young Black Men of Honor is catered more towards females, we are looking towards
Young
creating...
Black Men of Honor, not catered towards females.
Oh, catered towards males. My
Okay.
apologies. Yes, Young Black Men of Honor is catered towards males. So we are looking at developing programs to possibly get young women that same mentorship.
Okay.
So we are having a event for the WNBA for the kids to go see the Sky play against New York, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes, and the game is coming up soon, so we're looking forward to that.
Let me ask you, pull out of you a little bit more. How do you get involved as a student or a parent? What would you say to parents and uncles and grandparents about the advantages of being in the programs that you're working with?
Yeah, I think that students are able to engage with mentors that look like them, and they're able to get that academic help that they may not be able to get at home. Because me personally, I'm a first-generation college student. My mom, she didn't go to college, or my father, so not many students have access to being able to get the certain resources and information that they need to take further steps in their education. So I think it's important for them to have someone in their circle that they can trust and be able to speak to about these things.
I want to pass the ball to Ashley. Ashley, you can tell us some of the programs that you're involved with. And a lot of people don't know that Black Star Project is involved with Black and brown students in the community. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing and intend to do in the community.
Yeah, so I work mostly with the Philip Jackson Youth Development Program, which creates opportunities for middle schools and high school students from the South and the West Side to set substantive goals and work with dedicated mentors. And it also provides career readiness for potential college students. And yeah, it just creates mentoring relationships so that we can let the youth know that they're not alone in the process and that they can accomplish anything that they put their mind to.
Is that where that psychology comes into play? because you guys, I know you're going to be good counselors because you're both good listeners, and you want to help. You want to bring things back to the community. Now, what did you know about Philip Jackson? What was it about the Black Star Project that got you guys interested?
You see, when I came in, like, I didn't really know much about Philip Jackson, but after learning so much about, like, the work that he's done with CPS schools, it's, like, very great to see him, like, engage the parents in the learning of the students, and I feel like that's very important because, like, even growing up, my mom would attend, like, the meetings at school, and she would always want us to be engaged in,
Now, where did you go to high school? Tell us about, I think I know where you went, but tell us about your high school.
Yeah,
team.
so I went to Curie High School.
Great institution that's known for its arts. And
yeah.
arts. Tell us a little bit about that experience there.
Yeah, so they're an IB school, and they offer great programs, like, through music, and they offer, like, a chance for a student to want to become mechanics, like an automotive part of that, and then they also offer, like, IB classes.
You said ID class?
IB, International Baccalaureate, yeah.
Thank you.
And then they offer honors, AP classes, yeah,
That's advanced class. Okay, okay.
for them to get college credit.
So that's how you got a head start on folks with the advanced credit program, advanced courses.
Yeah, and I feel like even taking AP psychology in high school, it made me want to go more into the field.
Challenged you, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And you had a kind of a similar background. You went to
Yes.
Romeoville?
No,
in Joliet? Where?
No, I went to Plainfield East High School in Plainfield, Illinois. So it's a little bit, it's about an hour out of Chicago. So
Didn't you go to Westchester too?
yes,
You had some time in Austin.
Yes.
Say West Side.
Yes, so
Okay.
it's kind of, I moved around a little bit during my childhood. So first my
Through
family.
your childhood, okay.
Yeah, so my family is initially from Austin on the west side.
Yes.
And then we moved to Westchester, where I attended Westchester Middle School. And
That's
then,
maybe more famous than the other high school, Plainfield.
Yeah, Westchester is a pretty well-known city
Because
it's,
of the basketball, the sports.
Yeah,
and Isaiah Thomas and those kind of folks.
Yeah, I forgot. They had St. Joseph High School.
Oh, St.
over
Joseph,
there.
you're right.
Yes.
Excuse me. Thank you for getting me
No,
straight.
no worries. They had a really good school system when it came to sports, like Montini High School, Nazareth, St. Joseph's. Those are all private schools. But my mom, those were tuition based, so that was kind of expensive. So we did end up moving to the suburbs to Plainfield, where I attended Plainfield East High School. And yeah, that was
That's what people do when they get tired of paying tuition.
Yeah.
They find a high school in the neighborhood that's right for them, or a grammar school that they can get a good education, but they're paying for it out of their taxes so anyway,
Yeah.
but not extra money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I ended up going there, and after that, I winded back out in the city, going to UIC. So that was.
Now you also, after you finish your bachelor's degree, you were talking about either working on your master's or your PhD. Tell us a little bit about your ambitions there. Folks, look for this lady. Look for this lady. You're going to want to hire them and bring them into a situation where she helps create a very positive aspect. Tell us about your dream, your vision there for your master's and what you focus on there.
Yeah. For the next 2 years, I actually will be participating in a teacher's program called Teach for America, where I teach for 2 years for about like elementary school to middle school kids, and I'm gonna do that for 2 years just to get a
Teach for America.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that and why you got interested in that.
Yeah, it's actually my aunt sent me the program because we were basically going through things that I wanted to do after post-grad. So she found that program for me, and I'm really interested in working with kids, and I think it'll be a good opportunity to engage more with the youth and get some experience before I enter into that mastery level.
That's family supporting family and looking out for each other and bringing things. That's what this is about too. Your folks who got grandparents, parents, uncles and aunts, looking at these young ladies, looking at some of the other people that we've talked about, please call us. What's the number down at the Black Star Project? Don't tell me you forgot.
The number for the
Your
Black
phone
Star?
number, who would they call for information? I'm supposed to have that. But
I typically call Miss Gloria.
you just give her, you got the private number, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, you're going to pull it up for you, aren't you, Ashley?
Yes, I am.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I forgot it. It's my fault.
Okay,
Come on,
so
that's it.
the number that you guys can call
You're going to say it
is
more than once now, so.
okay. It's gonna be 773
773, write this down.
285
285.
9600.
You know what you guys forgot to do? You forgot to remind me to talk about Gloria Smith.
Oh no.
Come on, the
What was wrong with me?
the
You were
beautiful
supposed to
Gloria
you missed Gloria
Smith.
Smith,
Can't forget
our
about Miss
executive
Gloria.
director. All right,
Yes.
that's been a mentor, I know, to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But then you heard about other. You were supposed to tell me about Philip Jackson.
Oh, what I was gonna say about the Black Star Project. When I first came in, what I noticed initially is just like the family aspect of the organization in general. So that really drew me to being involved with the organization. I really like things that are close in ties, where people have good connections, and we're able to speak to each other almost like family. So I think it was great that it was just so close-knit at the Black Star Project, and it made me feel almost at home.
It's a warm atmosphere. You can tell whenever you come. And you know what makes that happen? First of all, it started with Philip.
Yes, sir.
And his portrait, when you walk in the door, you see that portrait looking at you, making sure that he's watching you from up here, right? And then Gloria makes you feel very welcome and gets you involved, engaged. And you can tell that she is for the students.
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit more about your after you get your bachelor's coming up in May.
Yeah, so hopefully after I get my bachelor's, I want to do something working in a school as a counselor, or just working in the social work field as well, or in the mentoring of the youth in my community and Little Village, just mentoring them so that they can go to college and they can be hopeful about their futures, just helping them build a plan so that they know that they're not alone in the situation.
And Ashley, I know you've been thinking about this too. If you were writing a program or a program within the Black Star Project, what would it be? What else would you add to the 4 or 5 things that the Black Star Project is doing? What's something that's dear to you that if you had a magic wand, you say, here's what we should do, and you're going to be the first one to do it?
Well, I feel like they already offer like the services, the opportunities, and the supports, which is like something that I'm talking about in my research through their programs. They have done a great job doing that. And then the components that I focused on, like providing positive youth development, is the importance of intergenerationality, civic engagement, mentoring relationships, and
Throw this over to Jada. Talk about the intergenerational aspect of getting the older folks involved as volunteers. Talk about that, what you've seen and what's possible.
Yeah, I think it's always good for our elders to shed light on their experiences, especially as we typically aim to assist young African American children or brown
Wait a
children.
minute, you said elders, right?
Yeah.
You didn't say elderly.
No, elders.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm an elder.
Yes.
Excuse me. Not elderly, right?
Right. Yeah, but I think it's so important for them to be able to engage and hear our elders' stories.
Okay.
They have so many stories to tell.
Well, we can
from,
tell you some stories.
Yeah, even you with your activism in your early years, I think it's important for our youth to be able to hear that and hear your experiences and what our community has been through.
And what many students don't know is the things that they're going through. We've been there.
Yeah.
We've done that. Sometimes we had to run away from things that we were doing, and we won't tell anybody else about it. But yes, we've been there. And what story would you tell about yourself and that you have shared with? I know you're sharing things with your students, right?
Yeah.
What did you share that resonated with them?
Yeah, I would say more so about my college experience and not necessarily knowing all the ins and outs to what to do when it comes to college and the admissions process and everything that entails just in general, getting there and to that point. I always encourage my students to just not give up on getting there and getting to their dreams, because it does seem hard when you don't have that mentorship and guidance to be able to get to college, because a lot of people that are not from our particular background, they have family members that had access to college, and
Right.
our community has not always had that access. So
Okay.
providing them with all of the knowledge that they need to be able to succeed in the next steps of their education.
And that program that you're in, that helps pay your tuition too, doesn't it? Or you
Yes.
work it out by working 2 years in the area of education. you get, is it completely a free ride or what?
Yes, so for the Teach of America, it is a tuition reimbursement for you teaching for 2 years. That was one of my options for post-grad, but also for PhD programs, you can get your tuition paid for basically by the school if you do a PhD program.
Okay.
So I was also looking into doing that as well.
Ashley, what the students that you've been engaged with, what has resonated with them in terms of your experience or the things that you've observed that, resonate with them?
Yeah, I feel like I have a similar experience as Jada, just navigating being a first-generation Latina student. I mean, my parents didn't go to college, so they didn't know about the process. So I'm so grateful that I'm able to have the resources through an advising program that I'm in, which they help me apply for scholarships, and they check up on me, and they just provide us self-care tips, and they just navigate us through choosing our classes, what's the best fit for our schedules. So yeah.
I think I have mixed emotions about the time that I entered college. My parents, neither one of them went to college. And I was first generation going to college too. But if I had to do it over again, I went to Marquette and Loyola, I would have went to an HBCU. I would have been either at Morehouse or Howard or what's the school down in Florida? The HBCU in Florida.
I can't think of the name.
I'll think of it before the broadcast is over. But I would have loved to have been in that atmosphere because the HBCU students that I've met over the years, they seem to be much stronger. They were more resolute. They were much more focused, and they have contributed as leaders. And I have to give a shout out. Let me give a shout out to my brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, Xi Lambda chapter, the 19 that went over a couple of weeks ago that we honored. 19 men went over into Alpha Phi Alpha this past month. And we're so proud of the 19 that went over from Xi Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. And if I didn't give a shout out to the Qs, my brother Coach Q and my son-in-law, Omega Psi Phi, but all the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities, we need you. We need their involvement. We need them to volunteer like Coach Q in passing on the experiences that they have, both in college and maybe more importantly, what's after college. What would you be looking for from a mentor?
I would be looking for like a genuine connection, giving me their honesty and just their full attention, and just providing me full disclosure on what are things gonna look like going into college, and just being there for me and listening, being an active listener when I'm talking to them about my issues or just like personal issues or school. Yeah, just being a helping hand.
You got a hero or heroine in your community that you've always looked up to, whether it's in Chicago or in Mexico or wherever? Do you have some heroes that you remember your parents held up as people to emulate?
I feel like even the Latino people who have done so many things for like in agriculture, like Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta,
that was a mighty man.
They had done so many things with activism, and just being able to learn about the history of what they've done just encourages me and other Latinos to keep going. Like, I mean, you can, si se puede. Like, you can, yeah, si se puede. Like, you can do it.
Okay, do it. And I know your family has told you about some of the heroes that have been in the Nigerian community too, either now or past. What are some of the stories that they've shared with you, that you take with you?
I would say my grandfather, since he did pass away not that long ago, he really didn't spread any of his knowledge about any support that he got in the Nigerian community, because he moved to the States at a...
You say he was about 20 when he came to the States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he really wasn't too open with his experiences about speaking with Nigeria. But I would have to do some more research on...
I would bet that as soon as you put enough dollars away, you're going to get on that boat or get on that plane and head over to Lagos?
Indeed. Hopefully soon.
And what tribe is your family from? What language do they speak?
He spoke Yoruba.
Yoruba?
Yes.
Is there a big Yoruba community here in Chicago?
I have met a few people that are Yoruba. There's actually another student in my applied psychology course that is from Yoruban descent. I have a person that also is from Togo that is in my class as well. So it's
What
interesting.
about you, Ashley, in terms of what provinces or states in Mexico that your family, do you have a lot of history about that they've shared with you?
I don't have nothing really like specific to share, just that my mom was born in Mexico City. She studied over there, but her credentials didn't pass by over here, so it's just been like hard navigating finding a career here because I mean you have to redo your whole education here if you want to get the same credits like here in the United States.
I've heard that from
Yeah.
many a person. What's that number? You pulled that number. You still got that number to call for more
Yes.
information? And what's going to happen when they call that number?
They are going to get the support that they
Okay.
need, the support, the services, and the opportunities that their children and the youth need.
Well, what's the number going to call?
They're gonna call
773.
773.
What's the rest of it?
285
285.
9600.
And if they leave a message, what's going to happen?
We'll get back to them right when
Somebody.
we can.
Somebody's
Yes.
going to call them back.
Yes.
They won't have to worry about that. And
Yes, sir.
between Gloria Smith, Cortez Watson,
Lindsay White.
Oh, God, that's right. You're working with Lindsay on some.
Yes,
Tell us
sir.
what you're doing before we run out of time.
With Lindsay, me and her basically work on our marketing and event planning. So we actually do have an event coming up for our Black male mass graduation, where basically we're inviting all males ages from kindergarten graduates to PhD graduates to celebrate their graduation with us. So that's some of the things that we do. We coordinate with different organizations as well to basically have events for our youth.
Now, you were part of the daddy-daughter dance.
Yes.
Did you remember the moves that I did during?
Yes.
You do? I thought
Indeed,
you
I did.
Well, put this up. Yours.
Up.
Yours, too. Thank you, all three of us,
Yeah.
for being here. Audience, come see us next week. Make sure you turn in. Black Star Still Rising and the Black Star Project. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us.